Okay, so this is my friend Scoot. I've about her before in the past, and we're gonna have a conversation and see what of it will be salvageable.
Hello, listeners.
Okay, so Scoot and I actually met. Good Lord, 2015? Was it 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was summer of 2015.
Or was it 14?
It might have been summer of 2014. Anyway, we've known each other for a very long time. She and I have been on similar and diametrically different kink journeys
Yes.
throughout our friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got started in kink?
Gosh, I'm trying to remember. I think it started by actually looking online for forums or websites that catered specifically to, a different style of dating, if you will.
Yes, I get you.
And that's how I came across FetLife.
Okay.
And was like, well, let's see what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
And dear Lord, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't that. But it offered a lot of opportunities to explore things and an education and, a very quick learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of experiences, both good and bad.
That's true. Very.
And so that's kind of how I dipped my toe, if you will.
She was a toe dipper,
in the pond of kink. All you listeners are probably very aware of her water references. So mine is a kink pond. And I met somebody on there who actually introduced me to Pineapple here.
Aww.
Little Miss Pinup. And it's been a shit show ever since.
Okay, so what was the first kink that really caught your attention? Which rabbit hole did you run down first?
Actually, now that I think about it, it was Pornhub and then hopped over to FetLife, but it was edging, like femdom edging, that really, I was like, what is this magic?
Oh.
Because it was certainly magic, and it was just amazing to see men basically simping all over themselves and being super needy and all of those wonderful things and vocal about it. So
that has always been one of the trademarks of the kink that you enjoy is the emotional connection and
Yes.
the need.
The need. Yes, need is a very good one. Because I think we can all admit that a lot of times men mask their true emotions or feelings, or they don't want to necessarily have you read desire right on their face until maybe right before they're inside you. But this one just allowed a sense of power play and control and, just seeing the desire that I was able to inflict and participate in with a male partner was very heady.
Yes. So that was one of the things that was very different about us in the beginning.
Yes.
Was I was very sub and you were very dom.
Yes.
And that played out in a lot of
Fun
and interesting ways, and conversations that we had that were kind of amazing.
Yes.
It was nice to have the conversations that we needed to have that we don't normally
have an opportunity to have with
exactly
people.
Because there's always that veil of this is the civilized world, and this is not civilized conversation.
Right. You'll talk sex with your girlfriends. It's usually like, oh, my man, he just does this, or, I just don't really feel like doing it, and all he does is come in and grab my boob, and I'm supposed to be ready. Crap like that you have with your girlfriends, or maybe even your sisters, where you talk about your spouses or your boyfriends or your partners. But even in that circle at the time, kink wasn't really discussed.
It wasn't.
I do think it's changed quite a bit.
Absolutely. Having the conversation is a lot easier now than it was even 10 years ago.
Yes.
So that puts us...
What do you think that is?
I have a feeling that between the media changing, 50 Shades of Grey came out, and everything got a little bit more, we should be talking, and then the mental health aspect of everything started coming in. And mental health is kind of important in kink.
You think?
Don't get me wrong. I do a lot of trauma work through my kink. I always have. It's been the thing I think that kept me sane.
Right.
But now I think that we're allowing people to be a little bit more themselves, a little bit more authentic, and we're not judging people as harshly.
I agree. Your phrase of, we're not yucking so many yums anymore.
Exactly.
I gotta think a lot of it has to do with TikTok. Because it's very embraced on there. Just book talk with your spicy, kinky books. And then there's kink talk. And then there's, there's people who are talking openly about the whole daddy little kind of play and dynamic, as well as, I don't want to say mommy son, because that's kind of weird. That's weird to me. It's not, I don't want to yuck anybody's yum, but
that one's not as prevalent.
It's not
in the open forums.
Correct. Though you will see it. It's more of just that. I think they call it mommy and something else, but really it's just a woman who is caring but yet in charge. And the male really that enjoys that really enjoys that.
Right.
So I've seen a lot more of it represented. Also on Netflix and stuff, just more mainstream movies or made for TV movies,
and more documentaries.
Yes,
more documentaries about
the education of
education and getting just wiser about the effect that repressing sex has. So
I wonder too, I'm curious as to with the talk around consent being forefront so much now, more nowadays, with the Me Too movement and all of those things, is that the more we talk about consent, the more we talk about what it is that you need consent for, which opens the door to talk more freely about your sexual predilections.
Exactly. And when you have to have a conversation where you're collecting your consent, where you're collecting your yeses, like a bouquet of fucking roses, you need to...
I like tulips.
So does every man.
Just knocked that one out of the park.
Okay. So when
Serious.
You're collecting your consent, it's really important for everybody to have a shared vocabulary.
Yes.
And that's part of what's actually coming to the forefront is a shared vocabulary. Knowing what we're talking about when we say things like daddy little and master sub and master slave and dom sub. All of these are different categories of what would have been considered the exact same thing not too terribly long ago.
Right.
So
the nuances are
more
educated.
We're trying to get deeper into the conversation to explain better what it is that we're looking for. And I think that places like FetLife becoming much more popular and giving us a forum in which we can have the conversations. This is the difference between this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And having, I'm not going to brag, but podcasts like this one, I think are really moving the needle towards...
Hashtag humble brag.
Hashtag weird flex.
Lord, we're old. That's why we keep saying hashtag.
So basically, where were we? So I do think that the conversation is moving in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's talk about some kink experiences that you've had.
Okay, we can do that.
Now, I know that you had a pet for a while.
I did.
It was remote, right?
Mostly. We were able to play in person only a handful of times.
Okay.
Yeah.
And having that online experience is something I've kind of struggled with throughout my, because I just don't, first of all, I don't have the emotional well to dig into to find the thing.
You guys, she's a brat, in case you hadn't noticed, and a brat is not going to try to get into the deep mental aspects of a DS relationship. She's going to try and piss the D off so she can get punished because she's a brat.
Yes. Okay. So the
You're like, enough about me.
I'm blushing enough. Thank you. So knowing that that's not something that I was ever really great at, I could have one or two scenarios that I could knock out of the park because I'm very good at building a story.
Right.
But I was never good at the emotional connection that it took to do that online thing.
Right.
What is it that online thing was able to do for you?
So, I think maybe not we've all heard it, but I know that I've certainly heard it, and I agree with it, that women are very auditory, and we also, there's a reason that reading about kink does it for women, whereas a lot of times men are more visual, and that's why they tend to maybe gravitate towards porn.
Right.
However, I'm a huge fan of porn, but not just any old porn either. For me, the what it did for me was, especially with my pet, was he was an excellent communicator in the written word. He's an excellent communicator verbally as well, but he was an excellent communicator and would engage. And I think you can agree, I think you've had some experiences like this where you will start out online with somebody and they give very, very little.
Yeah.
Like you're painting an entire fucking Picasso here, okay? And they're going, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. Do you have any idea how many messages I get that are, hey?
Yeah. Hey. Well, slap me sideways and wipe off my chair. I'm moist. You know, just from hey.
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 And then when they add the
Or
extra
wanna
Y.
fuck.
When they add the extra Y, so it's hey.
Like, they're just really relaxed. Or, hey, beautiful.
Hey, sexy.
It's like, how do you know I'm beautiful? My face isn't on this.
That's not what I say.
Would you like it to be? No, that's... So, yes, for me, the emotional connection, and I want to clarify, because I think a lot of times when men hear emotion, they think, oh my God, relationship. No, you can connect with people emotionally through sex and have it not be everything.
Exactly.
That was a hard lesson for me to learn.
Okay.
Just because I would get emotionally involved, because I didn't understand how to put up boundaries within myself when it comes to, yes, you can have these amazing experiences in a kink setting, and you can have this amazing connection, and you can feel all of these feelings. But if it's a play partner that you've identified is only going to be a play partner, then yes, you have to set boundaries up so that you're not bleeding that into your everyday life.
And having expectations that
100%.
they're not going to be able to live up to. Because that's been a major conversation that we have had multiple times in the past.
Shut up.
Shut up. Oh, I'm sorry. My dirty laundry's flying out here like a goddamn rainbow flag.
You started a podcast and aired out your moist panties for everyone to listen to.
True story.
Okay.
Okay, so you have always had that disconnect between this is situational and how do I show that I'm open to more?
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, what I blame are vampire movies.
True blood. I'm coming for you.
Not even that. It's just the whole story of Dracula. It's all very like dark gothic and romancy kind of thing. I do love me some Jane Austen and some Bridgerton. However, all of the like that very strong emotion, that longing, that darker, deeper kind of connection really started with those very romantic and dark vampire style movies.
Back again. Sorry, we took a quick break.
She had to stir the enchilada sauce. She makes me dinner.
I make her dinner. She comes over to do my podcast, and I give her dinner. I give her food.
Fabulous.
Okay, so Interview with the Vampire.
Like Bram Stoker's Dracula, Interview with the Vampire, the whole like Laurel K. Hamilton. She wrote this amazing series called Anita Blake, Vampire Hunter. Just that whole like just fabulously nerdy fantasy side of it, but it was also very like dark and twisty, full of emotion,
and very romantic. Like
very romantic.
Like this is forever in the strongest, most literal sense of the word.
Well, it was passionate. Exactly. Okay, and I think we can all agree that we've all had sexual encounters that were very much lacking in passion. Didn't mean they weren't fun, but there was no passion. And for me, I'm a whore for passion. I'm a passion slut. Maybe you could say that. Or just passionate emotions, like the heavy breathing, the need, the desire, the sounds, all
chewing on each other's faces.
Maybe not so much that, but deep, longing kisses where there's moaning. Just all of this kind of passion that is, I think people forget that can absolutely be very much a part of kink. It doesn't have to just be like filthy, dirty talk where you're just belittling the person or beating the shit out of them, although that's fun too.
Somebody's getting moist over here.
There
Keep going.
Is a chapter for everyone in this book. There is a Britannica behind me. So it was just really that like deep need or desire for passion, for romance, those kind of things, but in a sexual setting. Now that's really what I long for when I connect with somebody, when I'm being maybe a little bit more submissive. I am still looking for all of that passionate stuff when I'm being dominant, but I'm so much more in control, and I'm a sadistic little bitch. Like
we've met.
Choir,
we're preaching to you.
I just yeah. It's there's the dom, and then there's the sadistic bitch that's kept in a cage that comes out every once in a while with only special people. No, you haven't seen her.
I know.
You've seen me. You have seen her. You've not experienced her.
Yeah,
I should
exactly.
say that because
we don't do that. I'm too much of a brat. You would beat the shit out of me.
I'm a lady.
You are a lady.
A lady with a whip.
And some great boots.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Yeah. So because of that, of wanting that passion and that desire, I opened myself up to being put into situations where I was going to try and do things that were uncomfortable to me because I was wanting or hoping for that emotional exchange. And some of them weren't so great.
I'd like to talk about that one.
Oh, of course you would.
Hey, I didn't
She's
invite you on my
sadistic
I didn't invite you on my podcast to be shy.
That's true. That's
Okay.
true. So when you're a little baby kink and you're just starting out and you have a couple of really cool experiences, you meet a cool person like Pineapple Pinup over here, and they start telling you stories and it sounds amazing. And then you get a little big for your britches and you decide to try a whole bunch of things. And a scenario that ain't, now looking back on it, had red flags written all over it.
Yes, it did. Okay, so she went out with, call him Johan.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll call him Johan.
Or Johan, as the Swedes say.
Sorry to all my Swedish listeners.
All your Scandinavians. I'm sorry, she's butchering your mother tongue. Oh God, I said tongue. Here she goes.
So we were actually both friends with Johan.
Yes.
And he wanted to dominate you.
Right.
And
usually I was the one that would dominate him.
Exactly. So it was a switch situation.
Yes.
And being as you had not been submissive really before, you did not understand, and I'm speaking for you here, and I know that, so bear with it. Just grit your teeth, live through it.
She does that, y'all.
You did not understand safe word, what it was for, and what it actually meant. Because for some reason, you thought that safe word was calling things to a halt, not stopping for clarification.
So, yeah, I don't even think that we discussed a safe word, which, again, first red flag.
Yeah.
But, again, I put trust in this person. And let me just preface this by saying that this person in no way was doing any of this intentionally. He was just as ill-experienced in this as I was. So it was like two baby kinks thinking they could be big girl kinks and big boy kinks, and it was a big old hot kink mess.
Hot kink mess. That really did. I'm really sorry. It really did some damage.
It did.
It broke a lot of trust.
It did.
And that is the danger.
I mean, my hat's off. He put a lot of thought into this scenario. Like, he really was creative. But as a baby kink, it never occurred to me to ask him to lay out exactly what it was so that we could negotiate what was good, what was a go, and what was a no-go out of that situation. I was just told to be ready at a certain time, what to wear, and that was pretty much it.
Yep.
And now I know that when you have these situations that you have to get consent and negotiate, not even, I don't want to say negotiate, but you lay out, this is what I'd like to do. What are you cool with and what are you not cool with? What are your boundaries?
What are your limits?
What are your limits?
Which ones are hard? Which ones are soft?
Right. And I, in my enthusiasm to try new things, I completely didn't even acknowledge my boundaries or any of the things that we were doing, even in the moment. It was like, oh, this is different. Oh, I feel like I'm living out some sort of fantasy, but it wasn't mine. It wasn't mine for sure. And it was very industrial. It was very industrial. It was like, I felt like he maybe had watched some really like dark underground kinks at some point, or just the stuff from, what's that one?
Ex-hamster?
No, not ex-hamster. Kinkster.
BDSM Blur?
I don't know. It's a particular company that puts out BDSM movies, and they have like a castle in the
Okay.
beginning. I can't remember the name of it. Maybe your readers, or sorry, your listeners will know. But it was not at all emotional. It was not at all hot. There was no orgasms for me. There was,
And not in a denial sort of way. Just
there wasn't.
There wasn't.
And there was no checking in there, and it was just,
he had a checklist in his head, and he was going by the checklist.
And again, let me just reiterate that he wasn't being like hateful or mean or anything like that. And that just goes to show you that even though we were giggling at some points in it, that the damage can still be done if somebody is giggling and kind of physically going along, but you never had those conversations.
Because giggling is actually kind of a fear response sometimes.
For people who aren't brats, yes.
For people, even people who are brats.
Yeah.
I mean,
giggle.
like I know from personal experience, when I'm in a situation where I'm not entirely sure, a lot of times I will break out in nervous laughter.
Yeah.
And you've got to recognize what's going on in your body. You got to speak up. But eventually you did speak up. Eventually you said, this is not, I need to go.
So, I mean, actually I didn't. It ended because it ended. He came, and so then
grand finale.
Yeah, the very, very not grand finale for me. But it ended because he was really afraid that like somebody would walk in because it was his place of work.
Ooh, okay.
And then we went back to the hotel room that I had gotten and proceeded to try to do a different scenario, and it was just a disaster. The whole thing was a disaster, and I didn't know it was a disaster. I probably deep down knew, but I wasn't letting myself think it was a disaster until I called you to explain, to go into detail about all the fun things that had happened, and you were like, that sounds terrible. That's not good at all. This makes me sad for you. Like, she was just like, and then once she said that, the floodgates opened. There was no aftercare. There was nothing for my safety, for my concern. I mean, literally, there was just nothing. And it was a really hard to deal with that afterwards. And then what do I do? Because I'm an emotional cutter and sometimes like to beat myself up on things, is that because it didn't give me what I was longing for, which was that emotional connection, almost that daddy little girl kind of thing, I like a pleasure dom myself. I'm not really looking for someone who's going to beat the shit out of me, right? That's
you
what
do
I
enough
like
damage
to
to
do.
yourself.
I do plenty to myself. I don't need help in that regard. But I had searched and was talking to somebody else, and I was like, oh, well, I'll be passing that way. Let me meet him in the parking lot. And that was awful too. And nothing sexual happened. It was just ick. And then we met up with Daddy J. I met up with Daddy J. Based off of your recommendation for the care that I was going to need.
Right.
And it was so helpful, but the damage had already been done at that point.
Exactly. You'd had too much time to process.
Or not enough time to process.
No, you'd had too much time to process between the trauma before the aftercare started to bring you down. You'd had too much time to go through
I'd already done the
emotional,
dip, that sub dip, that crash.
sub dip, and then
And
now
it's
you
very much a real thing for DOMs too. The DOMs have a crash as well.
So that emotional recalibrating is not going to help as much past the dip.
And especially not the person who actually did the damage.
Exactly.
Right. So it was like a Band-Aid. a well-meaning and lovely Band-Aid, and I appreciate that Band-Aid very much. It was like a lifeline, because I was like, wait a minute, I feel so weird, and wasn't this fun? And Teresa's like, no.
It's okay, I got editing.
And Pineapple Peanut was like, no.
Yes, but
anyway, so after that, you know, I had no interest in being in a submissive role for a bit, and it wasn't until I really started to connect more with Pet that we started to switch. And that was definitely offering me a lot more of what I was looking for, and culminated in one of the most amazing scenes I've ever had to date.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
All right, we're pausing. Okay, so is there anything else about your current situation that you are hoping to change? Like with your kink life. Where is your kink life right now?
it's in Tahiti. It's not with me. I have not been in that zone for a hot minute. It didn't help that I lost my mother a couple months ago, and that's just kind of, the grief can sometimes mess with your libido.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it goes the other way, where you're like just banging anybody and anything just to feel better, and
Just
then,
to prove that you're still alive.
yep. And then there's me, where I tried that and I was like, no.
Yeah, this is not helping.
Right. Not to bring this episode down or anything, but it is important to recognize that, you know, what is happening in your life is going to affect how you are in your kink life.
Exactly.
And so people need to maybe remember that when, like, somebody they've played with before is like, I'm just not really feeling it. It doesn't have anything to do with you.
Yeah. So basically, your kink life is not really
There is
anything
no
right
kink
now.
life. Right. It's on a hiatus at the moment. I have started to go back on FetLife a little bit more, just to kind of look around and see. I do tend to get a little disenchanted sometimes with the amount of like professionals now that have like just taken over
right.
the
Content providers.
content makers, things like that, which is great, you know, if it wasn't necessarily panhandling a little bit to a specific type of person.
Yeah.
I would say I used to see a lot more different things
Right.
on there, and now it's just kind of the same thing on repeat. So I don't know if that says something about my algorithm, but
Right.
so right now I'm not dating anybody, I'm not playing with anyone. A lot of that has to do with how I would feel about myself, which, you know, we talk about ad nauseum. That I just don't feel desirable in this body that I'm in right now. You're trying to help me work through that with your pep talks and your come to Jesuses.
Absolutely.
But it's a work in progress, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's a fast progress. Sometimes it's a slow progress.
Absolutely. And every single day, you have to choose to believe that you are sexy. You are desirable. You have to choose to believe it, because there's a lot of voices in your head that are trying to convince you differently. But if you make the choice every day, you're going to start to shut those voices up.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress, and there's no such thing as perfection when it comes to this. I myself have told everybody on here, I don't like watching videos of myself.
Right.
I don't like looking at pictures of myself, because I know how self-critical I can be. But I still know I am sexy and desirable, and I can get cock.
I can get cock.
Oh, absolutely.
Is it the cock that I want? You're the cock that I want?
Are you the cock that I want? do, honey. Anyway, so yes, but at the same time, sometimes it just starts with your toe in the water.
In the pond.
In the pond.
Back in the kink pond with my waders on.
Exactly.
I've started to look at stuff again. Right now, I'm more interested in being a voyeur, like a just somebody who observes more so than participating. It's. I've got to work up to that again.
I'm gonna get you to one of my parties.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I will be paying. We discussed this. I'm gonna be handing out canapes and moist towelettes.
Okay, so you heard it here. She has volunteered for canapé duty. Will be cater waitering
at the kink party.
I'm a kink cater waiter.
You can use the Q-tips. You can use the toothpicks for multiple things, not just for your tiny veeny weenies. Little smokies.
Be careful what you're dipping your little wiener in.
Yep. It might have a spike in it. You never know.
Okay, so do you have any questions for me?
Let's see here. You're pretty open about most things. I don't necessarily have to like.
But is there a
You
question?
volunteer a lot.
Is there a question that you wish you could ask? It doesn't even have to be me. It can be just about kink in general. Do you have any questions that you want to, like maybe there's a specific kink that you've heard about but don't really know too much about? Maybe I can help.
I'm sure there's tons of kinks out there I haven't heard about. And some of them might frighten me slightly and right. Some of them might not. I've kind of just started to go back to square one again, where it's like, these are things I know that I like.
Right.
We have discussed a couple of times that I don't know that you and I are on different journeys in
Absolutely.
this. However, we are there to support each other
Absolutely.
with those things. So I've always been, you know what I am? There is a new one, and it's that whole reverse harem thing.
Okay.
And like that I'm reading in some sexy books.
Right.
Where it's like, okay, it's all about the woman's pleasure and it's multiple men and it's right. very, very hot. That kind of, I don't necessarily know if it's quite as much of a gangbang such scenario, because I don't do it in my butt, but
she does not go airtight.
No. I have 2 holes and some hands. You can use those: mouth, the JJ, and hands.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the thought of like, but it can also be a little overwhelming. I'm like, that's a lot to focus on.
The nice thing about a gangbang is that you aren't really required to focus. You are there to be pleasured.
A sexual ragdoll.
A sexual ragdoll. You're there to be pleasured in a very hedonistic way. A lot of bodies, and the thing is that most of the time when I've done gangbangs, it's been very, very one-on-one. A couple of times I'm surrounded. Occasionally I'll have finger cuffs, but for the most part, it's about my pleasure only. And I'm not focused on getting anyone off. I'm focused on, I'm about to come, make me come. Don't stop doing what you're doing. If you stop doing what you're doing, I'm going to hurt you. Fucking keep going. And there we go. And there's your reward.
Eureka.
There's your waterfall, sir. So, like, for me, the one thing about doing gangbangs that's really kind of opened me up is the fact that I'm not required to think about them.
That could be helpful. I think too much. We know this.
Exactly. When you are a very cerebral person and you are constantly fighting the voices inside your head,
Right.
sometimes it's nice to be taken into a situation where you don't have time to think.
Right.
You don't have capacity to think. You are simply holding on to whatever cock is in your hand.
And you're
holding
surrounded by
on.
enthusiastic cock.
Exactly. When you're surrounded by that enthusiasm, when you're surrounded by those people who are their only goal is to make you pleasure, give you pleasure. Sorry, make you pleasure.
Make you pleasure.
Make you pleasure. The only thing you have to do is think about yourself. What am I feeling? What do I need? And your body is going through. And
This break is brought to you by Diet Coke.
the only thing you have going on in that moment is physiological. Your brain is so wrapped up in the endorphins, and so it's really hard to think. And I'm constantly trying to catalog what's going on. Who did I meet? What was his name? Where are we going? What position? And literally,
Whose balls are these? Yeah, I get it.
I very much like the fact that I can look at the person that I'm with and say, where do you want me? And get that answer. Because I'm mindless. I'm like, I'm going to get mine no matter what. Because that's what this night is about. It's really
Well,
actually
it takes
kind of
me, as we've discussed, you're a very fun doll that you know, 2 plus 2 equals 4, and always will. There will always be a 2 and a 2 and a 4. With me, I found that sometimes it's a 7 plus a 3 plus there's a combination of things. And
you're more of an algebraic equation where you're
might be
where you're trying to
there's
solve
toys
for
I
O.
have where I'm like, this is what's going to work. We'll do this.
And that's I'm gonna do an episode on toys.
Oh yeah, totally. You have to.
Oh yeah,
because you have all of them. You are the catalog. But
I make Adam and Eve blush. Okay.
Right. I think again, it's the story that I tell myself, right? There's stories that we tell ourselves. Don't tell yourselves shitty stories, people. Don't assume you know what people are thinking. I do that all the time, and all it's going to do is give you an ulcer. So, and I'm not always. I might be wrong.
She's always wrong.
But is that when I think of the word like gangbang, it just what comes to mind is the porn that I've seen where it's not even about the female's pleasures. The dudes aren't even talking or engaging with the woman. It's just dudes high-fiving each other. Everybody, it was the woman. It didn't even necessarily need to be that woman or any woman. It was just woman parts, and that is dehumanizing it to me. Yeah. To me. Some people don't mind that.
One day I'm going to get my friend Jeff on here, and I'm going to have him tell the story of how we met at a gangbang.
Okay, cool.
And Jeff, I'm putting you on notice now. You're going to come on my podcast and tell the story about how we met at a gangbang. Anyway, and he can tell you here's a PSA for all my listeners. Porn really doesn't look anything like real life.
That's true.
No matter what, it does not look like real life.
Yeah. And
so when you're picturing a gangbang from a porn,
or just from what I've seen on FET that amateurs have put up, it's all very.
But in the moment, the energy is insane. The female pleasure is insane. I can't describe it. I can't explain it. And even though it looks like a lot of penises coming at you, these penises are coming at you in their goal in that room is to provide so much pleasure that this woman is annihilated from it.
That might be nice. To just shut off the. It's just brainstem and and exposed nerve at this point.
Exactly. And it gets to the point where like you're like if you touch my clit one more time, I'm gonna punch you in the nose. It gets to that point.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of overstimulation.
Yeah, and I do get overstimulated easily.
Exactly. But that's why you're like, we're calling a timeout. The one thing that they don't show you is that the women are truly 100% in charge. They're the ones who are providing the consent.
Mm-hmm.
And if a woman says no at any point during any one of these endeavors, everything stops.
Right.
So, I personally can't say enough about a gangbang. It's real nice. We floated away. We got our little canoes.
Your little
We
water wings. And just...
we got on our pineapple floaties and we floated down that lazy ass river.
I do love our lazy river with a cocktail. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm open to considering a lot of things and to even possibly just witnessing prior to participation.
Absolutely.
Just to get the sense of the vibe and the energy that occurs. Because I'm a big energy person, just
Absolutely.
like it's got to be right, or else one person throws the energy off, and it's just you ruined it for everybody, and that's why we can't have nice things. So don't be that person. And I hope to God I'm never that person.
Absolutely. I never want to be the poop in the punch bowl, guys.
Nobody wants to be that
Nobody
floaty
wants to
turd.
be that floaty turd.
Oh,
Thank you
goodness.
so much, though. I really appreciate you coming and doing this.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Yay! We'll do this again, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.